It's that time of the season, Beyond the Fairway. We appreciate y'all rocking with us as always, but we've got to wind things down a little bit. Will and I had a chance to catch up last week in Dallas. Tell you what, trying to get a hold of Will and get his schedule together, it's absolutely impossible. But wow, what a week at the showcase in Cedar Crest. We connected with people from Southwest Airlines, Fred Perpall from the USGA, hell, even Jordan Rogers pulled up and helped us all with our branding and marketing strategy. So Will and I had a chance to chop it up, so excuse any of the audio mistakes that you might hear in this episode, but hey, this is it. Final episode, season 4, Beyond the Fairway. You know what? I'm gonna just toss to myself right now. Yo, Beyond the Fairway, man, we back. Beyond the Fairway to go. Dougie Fresco, Will Lowery, man. Hey, it's crazy how when we started this podcast, we had producers and we would be in the little box, you know what I'm talking about? And then now we just out here in a pool in Dallas at the hotel about to wrap up the Southwest showcase at Cedar Crest, man. We come a long way. We actually know how to do this shit now.
We do, and shout out to the Beeman Hotel, because we know what we do, or what we're doing, we're telling them, hey, we need the music turned down. And they do it for us,
That's
right? So shout out to Beeman Hotel being so accommodating. Also the host for the Southwest Airlines Showcase, all the players and faculty and all the staff. So, shout out to these guys. These guys are top notch.
Yeah, and any ambient sound in this episode, it's not our fault.
Yeah.
It's just not. Like, we don't have control right now. We don't have a box. But, it's funny, being here at the Southwest Airlines Showcase at Cedar Crest, talking to the parents. We spent a lot of time kind of off the course talking to parents. One thing that I found crazy, maybe it's just me, but it's crazy, is like, we're talking about coaches and how to select a coach and what are the processes. And everybody kept saying, like, one thing that I want your take on, because they kept saying, we want a coach that has tour players.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not the mark of a good golf coach.
Right.
Like, and maybe it's me, am I crazy? But like, you don't need a tour coach to get to the tour.
Yeah.
I thought about that a lot last night, and I'm still kind of struggling with it.
We had a great conversation, this piggyback conversation we had with some parents, and I think that's where some of the fault lies at times, to where thinking that is the end all be all to get into the next level. I mean, I'm so much PGA Tour just to get to collegiate golf. You and I are firm believers of, if the coach makes you feel that you're hitting the ball right where you want to go and give you all the confidence, that is the right coach.
That's the right coach.
And sometimes we ignore the right coach for the right name or the popular name. And sometimes when we go for that name, it can kind of lead us down to the YouTube world, because we hear what I want to say is, some of these coaches out there, these PGA Tour coaches, and I'm not, no offense, but they happen to get the right play at the right time in their career, which catapult them to where they know what they're doing. Yes, and I'm not going to speak to any names out there, but
call nobody
I'm call nobody out.
Fact.
But
you get the right horse in a race, and you can win.
Man, if you get the right horse just while he's hot before a particular race and he wins, you get all the fame and glory. And I guess the message to the parents is it's okay if you have a coach that is not the most popular. He's on his way up, and he makes your son or child feel good. Now it's also determined to the kid if they want to put in the hard work that the coach is saying. The kids want to put in the hard work.
It's funny. I feel like the definition of hard work has also changed.
I've been around. That goalpost of hard work has moved.
Because it's like, hard work. My thing was, whenever I'm working on something. Whatever I was working on, I would work until I got it, and then I would work for hours past I got it to make sure I had it.
And it goes back to the saying, amateurs do it till they get it right, but professionals do it till they can't get it wrong.
That's it. But I see a lot of players, and I'm not talking about players just here in Cedar Crest this week. I'm talking about just junior golfers. I think in this world that we live in, hard work is almost a secondary.
Yeah.
I want a big name coach. I want to say that I go to this person. But look, here's some secrets. If you go to a big name coach, you, little Johnny son of a bitch, wherever you go to school, right, wherever you're from, and you go to Sean, I'm going to call you out. You go to Sean Foley. Well, guess what? Sean Foley actually has tour players. And you think your little amateur high school ass or D2 ass is going to get some time from Sean Foley over the Ben-Ons of the world and all the other players that Sean coaches? Absolutely not. Sean's not going to take your call. He's going to give you the time that he has for you. And Sean, forgive me if I'm calling you out, but
if you ain't buttering his biscuits, you know what I'm saying? If I ain't making no cheese off you, what we talking about right now?
And that is true. And the thing about it is, Sean will give you that time, and it's not always about the money with Sean. But however, because it's not about the money, it's about the time too.
It's about the time.
And you know, and that's the thing where I really want to harp on, and that's the question: how are we going to find that coach, that diamond in the rough coach? Because we're always looking for the diamond in the rough player, but there's some diamond in the rough coaches out there, and I really want to add emphasis to our black coaches.
Oh.
There are some black coaches out there, Hispanic coaches out there that know this game as well.
They do, but they don't have no tour players.
They don't have no tour players. They have tour players. So, you know,
players, having a tour player is not the measure if you're a good golf coach. I don't know where this came from. Like, how do you
explain that a little more?
Well, okay, so what happens if you have some great country club players or some great, mom and pops players that you've taken from 1,000 handicap to plus whatever? Or what happens if a coach should resonate with the player? Just because, and that's the thing too, when you get a big level coach, you take everything they say as fact.
It's the gospel.
There's some shit I don't agree with.
100%.
I don't agree with a push fade. I'm not gonna come from the inside and leave the face open and hit a push fade. So if I go to somebody and they teach a push fade, be it Mike Bender or whoever, no offense, Mike.
I
just disagree with
I'm not a fan of how people attack the ball with such aggression. Thinking that speed. I don't believe there's power in the backswing. There's a lot of coaches out there that speaks to getting back there pretty quick, and sometimes the language. And I think that's most important.
Oh, when they get sexy.
Man, I think that's more important is when it comes to coaches and relationship with the students is what's the language? How can I relate to what you're telling me? What as my old coach used to say, James Black, what parables do you have that I could
you're talking to me, right? You can look at the camera. We having a conversation.
Oh, it's not gonna be on camera?
It's on camera, but it's a conversation with us. It's all right.
All right. Well, man, I want to look at the viewers. Well, they can't see me. but I want to talk about the type of analogies that you can give me to make me see what you're trying to say.
That's it.
Because hey, it's more than just you got to do this and do that. Why do I have to do that? And I encourage all players that meet new coaches, old coaches, ask why. You might have to ask why 7 times to get to the point to where you can actually see it. You can see it in the mind's eye. And that's pretty frustrating to me.
Herm Edwards said, I was at a talk one time, he was a keynote, and he said something that I'll never forget. It was a golf keynote that Herm Edwards was giving, which is also random as hell.
Right.
But he said, if a player doesn't understand, if a player misses an assignment, and you've taught him or coached that player to do X, Y, Z, that's a coaching fault. It's not the player's fault. Right. Because you failed to articulate whatever it is that your expectation of him or her in a way that they can understand and get it right and repeat it. So I look at a lot of things from that lens. It's the coach and how you have communicated or the way that you have communicated that might be missing, from a player understanding, look, one of my favorite coaches I've ever seen, and I love instruction, right? So I like to go to different coaches and see what their philosophies are, etc. And Scott Hamilton down in Cartersville, Georgia, who I played really good golf with, it was so crazy to him. He's almost too basic. He's almost too simple. All right, Doug, we're going to get this thing over here, put that thing there, and once we do that, you just let it go.
But you know what? But you know what, though?
I feel you,
But you
Scott.
know what, though, Doug? I don't think the golf swing is overly complicated. Yes, yes. One swing don't fit everybody, but everybody got to have the same swing. Right?
I love when you say shit like that. Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about, but it sounds good. But that's what coaching is.
That's what coaching is. But the thing about it is, I personally think when a coach brings a player back multiple times, I think it's a little bit it's when it becomes a business.
It has to be a business.
Because I think if you can solve a play, if a coach really knows what he's saying, if the language is correct, and he can really communicate to the student in a way that they have a connection, that student should pick what that coach is trying to say up pretty quickly.
No, I agree.
And go on about his way. But sometimes these coaches, they
got
can,
bills too.
They can recognize a recreational golfer.
Yeah, they got bills too. So I'm gonna give you the Fountain of Youth to your golf game, and I need you to come back every 2 weeks and give me that $150.
Absolutely. So that
I need $150.
and I don't mind those guys either.
Every 2 weeks.
I don't mind those coaches either. I don't mind those
It's
coaches.
business, baby.
But
gotta eat.
you know, I don't think myself as a coach. But I like to think that I have information.
But let me just say this: a good coach is someone that resonates with a player. Period. At the bare bones.
I fully agree with that.
Bare bones. But here's another thing that has blown my mind this week. You know, watching Godfrey Sabuga this week. I forget what school he plays for now. It's in my notes. We go on there on Golf Channel here in a bit. We'll tell you who won after this episode comes out. You already know. So when I was in college, right? I would always look at, I kept making bogeys around 11, 12, 13, always, every round. It usually was 3 in a row or some stupid shit, right? And I got to some people that knew what the hell they were talking about, and they were like, Doug, what are you putting in your body around hole 6, 7, 8 that's sustaining you through the rest of the round? And this was years ago I got this advice. So I'm watching the telecast, and I'm looking at his card. He's like 2 under through 10, and then he bogeys out. At the time I picked him up, he had 3 bogeys in a row. He bogeyed 11, 12, 13. And I said to Steve Burkowski in the broadcast, I said, I'm interested to see what he's put in his body on the front 9. So after the round, I actually bump into him at the putting green. And I said, hey, bro, let me talk to you. And shout out to Godfrey Sabuga. I mean, this guy whittled clubs out of trees back in Uganda and used to play with jelly bean tins and golf balls, man. This kid's unbelievable. But I asked him, I said, what did you put in your body? He said, I had breakfast and I drank water all day. And I said,
was he on a fast?
I said, it's 4:30, bro.
Right.
It's 4:30.
Yeah.
So it's like, when I look at all this effort and energy going into making sure that our kids and black and brown kids, underrepresented kids, have a place to play, clubs to play with, good instruction, well, we also got to teach them more than that. We got to teach them some basic shit about nutrition.
Yeah.
You can't be out playing golf for 4 and change hours and not put nothing in your body.
And sometimes how you attack that is eat every 3 holes. Eat some. I remember right when I was playing I had a peanut butter jelly sandwich, and I cut the peanut butter jelly sandwich in 4s. Every 3 holes. Take the corner, right corner, left corner, bottom right, bottom left. And it somewhat has some type of fuel because, I mean, you can't be out there doing a Daniel fast.
No, you can't. You can't be out there fasting, period, unless
you have some spiritual stuff. Yes,
you need to go ahead.
Which is not a bad idea. Which is not a bad idea because I think golf is a spiritual game. So yes.
Really is. But like, all right, you had peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah.
I had peanut butter and honey. That was my jam.
That was good.
And I always ate the whole sandwich at the turn. But I had trail mix, I had power bars, also had dried apricots. That was my jam. Dried apricots will sustain you all day. That's all you need. It give you, your hyperglycemic index will stay right where it needs to be because there's so many other chemicals firing, the cortisols and shit. Yeah. And plus the emotion of you playing good or bad, hitting a good shot, bad shot. You gotta be able to what's the word I'm looking for? You gotta be able to make sure your blood sugar stay the same.
Yeah.
It's an R word.
Is relegate? That's not a word.
It sounds close to it. But
I don't know if relegate's a word.
It's not. This ain't Premier League. This
ain't
soccer.
But the thing, and to Doug's point, is you can't realize, you don't know how your game is taking such a hit when it comes to strokes throughout the round. I mean, if you're looking at, you may be losing 2 or 3 strokes over the course of a round because you're not nutrition. Think about that over a 4-round period. That's almost 6 to 8 strokes, depending on
just you didn't put
no food in you.
That's reckless.
And that's the stuff that I'm going to the young kids in general, but to our black and brown kids. It's sometimes the simple things. Not saying nothing wrong with your swing, like you said, you was on a range with him, and he's in here trying to do these shots.
You're trying to grind after 18 holes and no food, then you're gonna get better.
Silly rabbit.
Tricks for kids. Kid ass boy. Shout out to everybody in this field though. But look, I that's one thing I do enjoy about coming around these events is like you don't get a chance to talk and to these kids. We see them, and I mean, think about it. Most of these kids have already played on Golf Channel, they played on TV, all this ancillary added pressure that comes with playing golf as it is, and then you put it out there. You got to be able to sustain that. You know what I'm saying? But speaking of sustaining, we had the tournament director for Byron Nelson, or the CJ Cup now, Byron Nelson, here to address the kids the other night. And a lot of kids left the conversation sad. And you don't know what happened. I'm going to tell you what happened. With the new potential rules that are going to be enacted by the PGA Tour, you're going to have less PGA Tour members. You're going to have less positions to Monday qualify in, and sponsors are losing 1 to 2 spots per sponsor's exemption into events. So when we talk about 125, top 150, well, it looks like PGA Tour is going to take it to the top 100. So for these kids, any kid, I don't care if you play at Oklahoma State or you play at Florida A&M, that pool to get into the PGA Tour, that door is shrinking. And some of the kids left a little discouraged the other night, and we had some conversations, and it's just wild to me that at the highest level, we're shrinking the game.
Well, I don't understand that. I don't understand why. Why? And I'm asking why is the PGA Tour making it harder? And they're speaking to trying to elevate the game to others, encourage people to play. Even though you try to encourage people to play and be a part of the game, there's going to be a certain percentage of people that want to play to be professional.
That's it.
And how are you going to get those dope ass personalities? How are you going to get this younger generation? Because it's an evolving loop it's an ever evolving loop of keeping the same people in the same place. And I can see why those kids can be discouraged, because now it's like, what are we fighting for?
I'm out here busting my ass, and now I got nowhere.
That just made a hurdle that much more taller. That just made
it's like
the barrier to entry that much more.
It's like taking the goalpost and making it 90 feet high. Kick the field goal from 50. Go ahead. Nope, not gonna happen. Discouraged. I don't know. I don't understand. I mean, we're gonna have some conversations to figure that out with our contacts at the tour, etc. But it's hurting my chances to get to the Champions Tour. I mean,
man,
there's only 5 spots in Q School.
And think about it.
I'm already halfway there.
Thing about it is, seeing the rise of Tim O'Neill, that put that to spark back in my mind's eye again.
10 years out, I got time to get grinding,
dude. I got a lot of preparation time for it.
Hey,
but
the hell with Tim O'Neill, Bernhard Langer, 97 years old, just still winning.
I saw dust coming from him hitting the ball, and he still holding up the trophy. So it was his driver. He went from hitting the driver to the driver being a cane.
Wow.
Oh, my Achilles.
Nah, let me tell you something. When you can do what he's done at a high level for that long, that's impressive.
That's impressive, man.
I need to go figure out. I might have to get some German blood in me or something.
Man, that's
see
something.
What the hell he's doing, man. But we hate to do it, guys. We hate to do it. Y'all been rocking with us since we was back at NBC, Golf Channel, Times, with the Beyond the Fairway. But we gonna say this right now. This is the final episode of this season. We'll be back. We're gonna take a break, man. Doing the podcast. I know y'all been missing us. Will's been traveling. Will got or what's it called? TGL coming up. That's where Will's gonna be very busy as we start this 2025 campaign. You got Underrated still cracking. So you got stuff with Lexus. You got. I don't know how you sleep, brother, man, but
I know it's taking a toll.
It is taking a toll. So we're gonna let Will get some rest. That's why we've been on a hiatus. I've been right here. I'm just gonna put it out there. I've been waiting on Will to call me back. And,
not necessarily, because this guy is he's spreading the gospel of golf through his distinctive voice that can ever be recognized on any golf channel and anything about golf.
I sound like an old white man.
PGA Tour Live. You got some big shows in Q1.
Trackman coming back. Trackman Tour. Me and Rachel Drummond from overseas. We get back together soon. I replace him for a much prettier co-host. Sorry, that's just a fact. And then we'll do that. We'll head into PGA Tour Live. I get things started back at the Farmers Insurance Open, which is watered down now. I mean, geez, the way the schedule's working out. And then we'll stay on for. I'll do Farmers and Genesis. So if you're in Phoenix, holla at me. Phoenix Open Week is off. I'll be one of the drunk people. But
are you walking for Genesis?
I ain't no, I'm in the studio.
Oh, okay.
Don't get me started.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yo, we appreciate y'all always rocking with us, holding us down. You know we out here in these trenches, man. Follow, listen, like, subscribe, holla at us, hit us in the DMs, man. Beyond the Fairway, that's season 4, or how you say it?
Season 4.
I'm so glad.
And
we had the Cinco.
And we had the Cinco a little bit just before Nueve. Cinco Nueve, yeah.
Hey, oh man.
Love you, dog.
All day, twice on Sunday.
All right. Peace. Fucking brother, find me some egg whites around here.